or we don't prefer to sit with the people of our language or our dress or our food or our tribe or our color. We don't prefer to sit with them as opposed to sitting with others, because this is from the Jahiliyyah. When Muslims do this, they do it innocently. They don't do it as a conspiracy. They don't do it intentionally to cause fitna and breaking up. But whether you slice somebody's throat by accident, or you run over somebody in your car by accident, or you shoot someone by accident, whether by accident or whether it is by intention, it is still a crime. You have still killed someone. And when you incline yourself towards your mother or towards your father, when you prefer to follow your mother or your father or your family or your tribe or your people of your color or your culture, you are subverting the deen and you are killing the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, and you are dividing the Muslims. And the leaders of the Muslims, it is their responsibility, along with talking about the issues of Arkan al-Islam, Arkan al-Iman, along with talking about the ahadith and the tafsir of Quran and the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ and the balagha or the fiqh or the ahkam and all the important subjects, they have to remind the brothers and the sisters of these three ayats. Why? Because this Khutbah Alhajah is a direct connection between taqwa and giving up nationalism, tribalism, following one's culture, and religious sectarianism. Yes? And religious sectarianism. The Muslims today suffer from tribalism, nationalism, and religious sectarianism. When you sit among Muslims, or you go throughout this city, or you go throughout the United States of America, invariably you will see that Muslims, by default, they immigrated to this country, and when they immigrate, they look for people who eat their food. It is innocent. They look for people that speak their language. It is innocent. They look for people that look like them. It is innocent. And you would think that after some time, understanding brotherhood, understanding the United States of America, understanding the freedom of movement, understanding that after some time, they would not do that. They would mix together. But if you will go back in the history of Islam in the United States of America, just go back 60 years, you'll find out those masjids that were established by Africans, today, if you go to those masjids are administrated by Africans. If you go and find a masjid that was built by Turkish people, after 60 years, they call it the House of Allah. Masjid Umar, Masjid Medina, Masjid this, Masjid that. When you go inside, you see nothing but Turkish people. If you see a masjid which was built by Bengali people, Bangladeshi people, even when at that time it was not Bangladesh, at that time it was East Pakistan. But when the people came to America, the ones from East Pakistan, they don't want to pray with the ones from West Pakistan. So the East Pakistanis, who are now Bangladeshis, they established masjids, and if you go there on Jum'ah, you will find out 90% of the people are Bangladeshis. If you will go to the masjids established by the Arabs, and they call it all beautiful names, Masjid Quran, Masjid Abu Bakr Siddiq, Masjid Fulan Fulan. Those masjids, if you will go to the earliest masjids that were established in the Midwest, in Michigan, in Iowa, in Illinois, if you will go to those masjids today, you will find out today, after 60 years, those masjids are dominated by Arabs. And not just dominated by Arabs, but if that masjid was established by Palestinians, it is dominated by Palestinians today. If it was dominated by Iraqis, it is dominated by Iraqis today. And so it continues that when the people that came from Somalia, they came here, They established their masjids, and they called their masjids beautiful names. But if you will go to those masjids all the way across this country, you will see the administration, and you will see 90% of the people, they are Somalis. And they prefer for the Somalis to be there. So they should call it Somali Masjid. And some Muslims, when they are away from that masjid and they're talking about that masjid, they will say, oh, the Bengali masjid. Oh, the Somali masjid. Oh, the Turkish masjid. Oh, and they don't really mean that. But by default, they say that because 90% of the people are of that particular tribe or nationality. They did not intend to establish a masjid like that. They were just following what they were following before they came here. And if you will go to Brooklyn, if you will go to Philadelphia, if you will go to Los Angeles, if you will go to the ghettos of Chicago, south side of Chicago, where the masjid was established by African Americans, they also fell into the same trap. 90% of the people that go to that masjid, they are African Americans. The Imam is an African American. The Majlis Ashura is an African American. So tell me, if it started out that way, and it is that way 50 years later, what will it be 50 years from now? It will be the same way. Allah, He has forbidden that. Allah has forbidden that. Because what that basically does, it excludes one group from the other group, and it places one group over top of the other group from now on. And if we look to the Muslim world, especially what has happened in the last 10 years, the last 2 years, which they call the Arab Spring. No, it is not Arab Spring, it is the Arab maybe spring back, but they did not spring forward. Because it was not an Islamic movement. The rising up was not because of Islam. The rising up was a reaction against a tyrant. The rising up was because the tyrant would not share the money. The tyrant would not give the people their rights. The tyrant would not give the people what they wanted. He would beat their backs, take their property, and take from them their rights. So they rose up against a tyrant. But that was not an Islamic movement. An Islamic movement is a movement for raising the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what the Islamic movement is about. And so after they removed one evil, one external evil, after that evil was ripped out, they follow another evil which was with them from the very beginning, and they will just be a matter of time before they select another one of themselves to do the same thing for another 20 or 30 years. And so, since the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this is the cycle that the Muslims have been going over and over and over and over. And so the non-Muslims took advantage of that and split the Muslims into small little groups and small little nations, gave all of them their own flag, gave them all their own leader, gave them all this and gave them that, and said, no, 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 no. You're not just Muslims, you are Pakistani Muslims. No, 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 you're not Muslims, but you are Moroccan Muslims. No, 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 no. You are Egyptian Muslims. You're not Sudani Muslims. Oh, no, 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 no. You're not African Muslims. You are Asian Muslims. And no, 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 no. You are Arab Muslims. And no, 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 no. Not just Arab Muslims. You are Saudi Muslims. You are you are special kind of Muslims. And we will help you keep your borders. We will help you keep your distinction. We will help you keep your identity. We will help you to subvert Islam. So, O Muslims, my message to you today is each one of us, we need to study these ayats so that we can modify the tendency towards tribalism, nationalism, and Islam and religious sectarianism. Today, Muslims are concerned about whether you are following Imam Ahmed ibn Hanbal, rahmatullah alayh.